Hello, my name is Lugo, and this is my draft for this course. Please excuse if I sound like I'm reading this, is well because I am. A difficult time for me was when I spent days particularly homeless, with no plans at all, with my now wife and my two baby kids. As some of you already know, Puerto Rico, where I'm from, has an awful debt crisis and the economy is terrible. Back in 2008, I decided that I wanted to do more with my life and support my brand new family. My uncle, who was living in Orlando at the time, told me that he could help me to get to the States and start a new life there. At first, I was afraid, a new country, new people, new language, new and different ways to do things. These were things that I could probably endure on my own, but I but if I think of about my main goal, my family, I could endure it. So I talked to my uncle, and I agreed to go to Orlando. But my uncle told me that I should bring my family as well, because it'll be difficult for me to be away from them for a long time. At first, I was a bit confused. I thought that it was easier if I go alone, and later, if I had an apartment and a better paid job, I could bring them to Orlando. So, but I decided to do what my uncle said. So my wife and I saved up everything that we could. At the time, I was unemployed. My wife was the only one working at the time. So we sold everything. We only kept our clothes and baby stroller. We left we left Puerto Rico with less than $800, and like we were scared, really scared. Um, at our arrival to the States, we were fascinated with all the new things. New things. After our arrival, my uncle set up some rules for us. He even made us sign a contract. My uncle wanted us to sign a contract, but he was okay with it. I'm he was my uncle, but anyway, he lent me a car, which I had to put on my name and pay insurance for it. Plus, I had to take care of like my family necessities, like groceries and stuff like that. Um, so the first few weeks, we were kind of okay. I mean, we were 8 people in a two-bedroom apartment, and we were a bit tight. I got a job at a fast food restaurant, and my wife um, stayed at my uncle's apartment because one of the rules that he made was that she was supposed to stay with them at all times, and my aunt was not allowed to take care of the kids. So that's what we were doing. Um, on my days off, my uncle and I would go to different places to apply for jobs, and like I failed. Like I never got a call back from any place. At the end of the day, we were frustrated. I was frustrated, but my uncle seems to be mad at me for some reason. About a month or so passed, and things were worse. My uncle was mad at me because I couldn't make enough money. I couldn't make an apartment, enough for an apartment. Um, we were denied for apartment complexes, and he took it really bad. He was also mad because I couldn't get a better job. So he gave us an option to have my wife be able to work, and our aunt could take care of the kids for a few hours. But Um, couldn't be just just a handful full of hours, so enough so I could um, go back from work and take care of him. So I get understood his point, so we agreed, and but I was noticing the situation and that it was really bad. So I started to talk to a friend of mine that was living in Arizona at the time, and he told me that I could come to his house and he could get help me get a job. Um, so I was thinking like how like if my uncle was giving me such a hard time, how a friend could help me. A week, about a week later, my uncle tells us that he was going to take the car that he lent us to sell it. So, so for a time, my wife and I had to we had to walk about 7 miles um, to get to our workplaces one way. So it was about 14 miles total. How the things and the things got worse. After a few days, my uncle turned off the breaker box from the apartment, and he only had only one section of the apartment with electricity, and that was the section where he, with my aunt and my two nephews, would sleep. The area where there was no electricity, so that's where we were. And sometimes I would come up from work like at midnight or so, and I would find my wife crying and like trying to have the kids to fall asleep. But since there was no electricity, there was no fans, there was no air conditioning, and yeah, like they didn't like it. So we had to like um, um, have them take showers, cold showers, so they could calm down and take it, so we could take our rest. One day, I remember it was after the 4th of July, my uncle gave us one last ultimatum. He told us that we had 2 days to leave his apartment. The tensions were really, really high and they escalated rapidly, and we moved after the 2 days. Um, Fortunately, very close by to where I used to work, there was a motel. So we spent like about 3 or 4 days. I'm not sure. And we were planning what we were gonna do. Like we didn't know if we were gonna go to Arizona with my friend or if we go back to Puerto Rico. Um, so after we decided, we contacted our friend and everything went okay. I was able to stay in the States almost 12 years now or so. Um, I got a job in IT, and now I'm studying. My wife, she's she seems happy. My kids seems happy. They seem happy. I think that we made a good decision to stay. All right. So that's my story, and yeah, thank you.